Recording?
Yeah.
Coming through? Doug, the map's behind you. That's the task you've got in front of you, starting next week. How are you feeling?
Fine, to be honest. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Done the training, so I've got all that in the bag. Feeling quite confident about stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a bit daunting, I think, once we get south. I think the northern parts will be fairly, up and down and a little bit of fun and a little bit of wind and stuff. And as soon as, of course, we get to the Pyrenees, then that's when it really kicks off, I suppose. I've done a bit of Pyrenean climbing before, so I've got a rough idea what that's all about. It's just the atmosphere thing that I've never experienced before, so I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, cycling fans are generally quite nuts and like a beer and stuff, so I'm pretty sure a lot of that's going to be on the day that we get down there. So I'm looking forward to the mountains for sure.
And I was speaking to your wife Wendy earlier, and she said you're no stranger to a challenge. You love testing yourself physically, and this is going to test you to your limits.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's the whole thing's just a bit mad, really. Who gets the chance to do this? And when I first spoke to Jeff about it, it was one of those things that you just think, I'll never get the chance to do this. So I never really thought about the physical challenge. The bit that got me the most, perhaps, was actually the charity bit. The making sure that you get the money. Because to me, that's the commitment. It's not about everybody can get on a bike. It's whether you can actually say to somebody, not only will I get on the bike, but I'll actually do that for you, and I'll get that. And not only will I get that, I'll get something else as well. And that was the bit that's really driving me forward. In a January, when it's cold and wet and horrible, and it's a bit you don't see in July, when you've got to get your stuff on, it takes you 45 minutes to get ready to get on the bike, never mind the cycling time you've got to do. And you need motivation, and you need to have a personal will to go and make that happen, really. And to Jeff, that was my commitment to the whole thing, really, was not only will I do it, I'll make sure I get the sponsorship and the necessary. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that bit happens as well.
And Doug, you haven't just got the £50,000 sponsorship; you've surpassed it. And do you think you can keep going? I mean, it's just phenomenal the amount of money you've raised already.
Oh, it's not finished yet. I've got a few places to go yet. There's a few of my mates that haven't written checks yet, so yeah, I'll be chasing them down for sure.
And earlier today, up at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, meeting Professor Charlie Craddock at the Centre for Clinical Haematology, to then go and meet the patients who you are riding this for. How did that make you feel?
Pretty emotional. Pretty emotional. Yeah, it's I lost my mother to cancer, and you just feel that there's so much progress being made. And that's the big thing. I mean, Dom alluded to earlier about his pal, and so long ago there was no chance you'd ever get through it. Now you have a fighting chance, and the more money we raise, the more clinical nurses we get, the more people will get a fighting chance, and you can't ask for any more than that. When my mother died, I was 20 odd years old, and she died of ovarian cancer. I mean, that doesn't kill anymore, but it killed then. And that's the difference, I think, that really this whole charity makes, and the whole effort that we're putting in to raise this much money to try and make sure that the people that are have this unfortunate disease have got a fighting chance. And when you hear the question about Lance Armstrong, it really makes my blood boil a bit, because it's not, Lance Armstrong is just a vehicle to helping us. When we met him, he was committed to helping us raise more money. It doesn't matter about the drugs and all that. That's all yesterday's news. It's not about that anymore. It's what can Lance Armstrong help us to raise more money to help people like you and me, whose friends get this awful disease, to give them a chance. So when the question was asked, would somebody not give an extra tenner? Just think about that. Think about that tenner actually might make a difference to one of your friends. So it's not about Lance Armstrong, it's about the cancer charity.
And you met a couple of patients, Roy, who you had a particular connection with?
What a guy. I mean, he's 70 odd years old, he's had it twice, and his sparkle in his eye. He's living his life, he's got a chance, and you just feel, I just loved him. I think he was a beautiful person, he's talking about him and his wife going out on their bikes, I mean, 3 months ago the guy's looking at the Grim Reaper, and there he is, sparkling eyes, living his life, getting on with stuff, and he's got this chance because he's in the middle of this trial that seems to be working fantastically well. So yeah, it's really nice bloke. I love that. It's really nice.
And you are making a real difference to these people, and we all at Cure Leukemia just want to wish you the very best of luck, and I hope you have a fantastic experience, and good luck.
Thanks very much. I'm sure it's going to be everything we can imagine it to be and a little bit more, I'm sure. And, the team is gelling really well, and I'm sure we'll help each other through it. And none of us are looking more forward to it than I am, coming down the Champs-Élysées, getting into Paris. We all know how that feels, and it'll be doubly special this time round, that's for sure.
Brilliant. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate.